This is the OTB Television Network, a service of Capital District Off-Track Betting.
Good morning and welcome to the Handicappers Report on this Thursday morning. Seth Merrow and Jeff Carl will be taking a look at Gulfstream and Tampa Bay for this afternoon. Jeff, before we get started, I just want to remind people or alert people because we've been promoting the March edition of the Capital OTB Handicapping Series, the Shamrock Showdown, as March 1st. It has been moved. It is now March 8th. So if you're going to participate in the Capital OTB Handicapping Series, the March edition Shamrock Showdown here at the Clubhouse Racebook, it is now March 8th. So mark your calendar on that. Jeff, good morning.
Good morning, Seth. Good to hear March.
Maybe
we're going to be turning the corner. We have a little bit cold weather to get through, but I looked at the extended forecast toward like the 10th to 12th of March, and it's looking pretty good. So.
Yeah, not in the immediate future.
Not in the immediate future, but man, I have to have something to look forward to.
Yeah, once you get out of February, you realize you're on the downhill. So we're certainly looking forward to that. I want to remind people playing today, the Rainbow Six pool down at Gulfstream now at $1.5 million. I continue to recommend playing it. I handed out a little ticket here on the air yesterday for $40-some, and I played and went 4 of 6. And in the 2 races that I didn't win, ran second and third. But the race I ran second in, the winner came in off the AE list and was very havable. In fact, I put a little saver win bet on it as we went into the race because I liked it that much. And then the race where I ran third, the winner was the horse. I'd only gone 2 deep in that race, and it was the horse I had third. Point being, I went 4 of 6 and didn't cash a ticket, but the point being, this was a really havable sequence. The prices in these 6 races yesterday, Gulfstream's Rainbow Six, $3.60, $9.60, $15.60, and I had that. That was a fairly logical horse. That was the longest price, $9.60, $7.80, $9.40. So there was only one horse that went over $10. They were all logical. And for 20 cents, Jeff, the payoff, $4,522.
Nothing wrong with that.
20 cent ticket.
Nothing wrong with
that.
that.
So, and that's what I'm saying. They put another, over the weekend, they were putting about $500,000 in the pool. The consolation comes out of what's put in the pool that day. It's 60% of that day. And so, $500,000, you're playing for $300,000. And in a legitimate $2 pick six, $300,000 would be pretty good. When you jump in for 20 cents, comparatively speaking, that's like a $3 million pool compared to a $2 bet. And so when you're getting 60% of these 6-digit figures, it can be pretty logical and still pay pretty well. So again, that Rainbow Six today at $1.5 million. Do want to remind people also today, 198,000 pick 6 at Santa Anita Fairgrounds. Their pick 5 is one of these jackpot bets. It pays off to a single winner, but that's getting pretty good now too, 414,000. And a reminder again, if you're looking ahead tomorrow at Aqueduct, they have a $105,000 carryover there for Friday when they return to racing at Aqueduct. Jeff,
plenty of money out there.
There
for the taking.
There is a lot of dough out there if you're a horizontal player, and as I say, past week or so, once it got to maybe $600,000-700,000, I started jumping in that rainbow and just trying to put together logical tickets. And yesterday it was very heavy. I was a little bit disappointed when I hit the first 3 and then got knocked out.
Well, the rainbow, you have to be the lone
to pull down the whole pool because they had that crazy DQ over the weekend. That the horse that got DQ'd, it was
would have won. Yeah.
And I subsequently I read, you can pull up an article over on Equidaily. I read yesterday that what the racing gods taketh away, they give it to somebody else, because somebody else had 5 winning tickets on the horse that got moved up, had a $1 bet on the. And so they wound up as a 36,000. They wound up with about over $180,000 on the DQ, and I'm dying to know what their strategy was, because given that they had 5 tickets, they were playing against themselves pulling down the whole pool, because it can only pay if there's 1 ticket. Yep. And I'm wondering if this person intentionally either didn't know the rules, and that's possible. I'm thinking he intentionally did it, thinking he had a fairly logical ticket. There was a couple long prices in the sequence, but if you looked at the morning line, they weren't anywhere near what they paid off. So I'm wondering if he thought, I got a logical play, let me see if I can get some multiple tickets. And as it turned out, it paid off for him, because even if he had played at only a 20% increment, he wouldn't have been the lone winner, because he had 5 tickets. There was 8 tickets total, so there were some other tickets.
Not a bad payday, though, 6 figures.
Yeah, no question about it. News over the past 24 hours or so, Corey Lanery named the George Wolfe Memorial Jockey Award winner. He was up against David Amos, Dennis Carr, Aaron Greider, and Scott Stevens, and it recognizes riders whose careers and personal character have earned esteem for both themselves and for the sport. The winner this year, Corey Lanery.
Yeah, and congratulations to Corey. You know, jockeys will tell you it's one of the most coveted awards to get, because it is voted on by your peers. So it's extremely meaningful. Everybody likes Eclipse Awards, there's no doubt about that. But being voted on by your peers for basically your legacy is what it's voted on. I don't know Corey personally, but this says an awful lot that riders across the country elected him as this year's George Wolfe Award winner. So congratulations to Corey Lanery.
39 years old, and this season he's down in Florida at Gulfstream, but most of his career seems like Kentucky, Texas, Louisiana. He's bouncing around kind of that mid-southern, Midwest region, but he's a name certainly if you watch racing. In Kentucky, you know, for years he's been a guy. If you play Churchill Downs, you've seen his name.
And people the last several years are saying he's one of them under-the-radar riders that you have absolutely no qualms about if he's on a horse that you like, because he's just a very solid rider and is going to be able to get the job done.
Absolutely. And just before we get to the handicapping, did want to touch on coming up this weekend in New York. We had a couple of big 3-year-old races this past weekend, the Holy Bull and the Risen Star, but do want to remind people coming up on Saturday in New York. Nice stakes card down there, but highlighted by the Gotham Grade 3 event, $500,000, mile and a 16th. This is a Kentucky Derby points race, and Jeff, this one's kind of loaded with interesting horses, kind of top to bottom. Financial Mogul is interesting to me because comes out of that Holy Bull, finishing behind Cairo Prince and Conquest Titan. But third that day was Intense Holiday, who went over to the fairgrounds this weekend and won. Financial Mogul was 6th in that race, but I'll be very interested to see if maybe it's turning out that Holy Bull is a little bit of a key race, perhaps. Uncle Si and Samrod, of course, coming out of the Ding Dong battle in the Withers. Noble Cornerstone, who came out of the 2-year-old season with some promise, very lightly raced, then threw in the Dunn and the Sam Davis. Can he bounce back? And speaking of the Sam Davis, Harpoon, who a lot of folks thought was maybe even better than his stablemate, the winner, Vince Ramos. Harpoon was a nose back.
Yeah, a lot of the focus is going to be on the New York bred Samrod and Uncle Si, who, you know, put in that extraordinary battle in the Withers Stakes. But I think this water's a little bit deeper. I wouldn't throw either one of them out, but this is a much tougher field. It's being reported that Todd Pletcher trained Monopolize will not run in this race. He did not get on the plane, and a couple of the horses that were flying up from Florida, I read where their flight was delayed. They were supposed to come yesterday. There was a crack in the windshield, so I believe they're supposed to make that trip today. That's not too bad. I mean, it's just one day that, you know, that they're not be able to get up, but Monopolize will not be on the plane, so he won't run. Horse that's very intriguing to me is the Tony Dutchell trained In Trouble, who we haven't seen since he won the Futurity in September, but he is 2 for 2 lifetime, broke his maiden in Saratoga in a real nice race, then came back and won the Futurity Stakes. Joe Rocco Jr. aboard, son of Tiz Wonderful. I'm very interested to see him run. Mile and 16th, first time out off of the layoff. You know, maybe he's a little short, maybe he's not 100%, but it's getting to be that time of the year. If you want to be in that starting gate, you've got to start compiling some points. So he may be a little bit late getting to the ball, but still not too late if he can start compiling some points and get a good solid race into him, maybe get some points. maybe a springboard toward one of the bigger events, Wood Memorial possible. So In Trouble, I'm very interested to see run.
And I will also note, it was the Clancy Brothers website, I believe. This is horse racing, and I have a link to it over on Equidale. There was an article there, I think maybe Tom Law wrote it, or it may have been one of the Clancy's, because it was, these are coming out of Fairhill. But anyway, the article was about Financial Mogul and Rick Violet kind of going back to old school training, putting a couple of mile workouts into Financial Mogul coming into that, which you don't see that much anymore. I mean, one, you don't see very often. Stringing a couple of mile works together coming into a race like this is really kind of an anachronism.
Yeah, and I've noticed Rick Violet lately, because I handicap Aqueduct quite frequently for us, that he has been putting in a lot of these longer works in these horses, trying to build up their wins. So interesting angle, but yeah. I think it's effective, and like we said, I think this is a much deeper field than the Wither Stakes. So.
Yeah, it should be fun. That's Saturday at Aqueduct, 9th race on Saturday on a nice little, there's a couple other nice stakes as well, but the Gotham coming up on Saturday. All right, we'll shift our attention now to the handicapping portion of the program. Jeff's going to take a look at Gulfstream a little later on, but I'll kick things off with Tampa Bay Downs.
The opener at Tampa Bay Downs is 6 furlong, and it is a maiden claiming event for 4 and up, and the claiming price is $8,000 down to 7.
And just going back the past couple of days, I've been in here handicapping because I didn't total them up on Turf Paradise from a couple of days ago, but going back to Tuesday at Turf Paradise, what do we have? 2 out of 9, 2 winners on top, but there was, 3 winners on top. 3 winners, 3 of 9 on top on Tuesday at Turf Paradise. A couple of reverse exactas, a couple other exactas that had to go a little bit deeper in the mix. It was one of those days, winners on top were okay. There were some short prices, but again, you could have played around with the picks and come up with some exactas and even some triples in there that would have made it all right. Called one play of the day. That hit for a modest little profit. Yesterday at Gulfstream, again, 3 winners on top, 3 of 10. As I say, that Rainbow 6 ticket, 4 wins in there, a second and a third. But for 20 cents, $4,500. So we'll probably try another rainbow ticket again today. And a similar situation, if you played around with the picks a little bit, you could have come up with both some exactas and some tries. So, we were bouncing around both yesterday and Tuesday with having some winners and some exactas as well as some tries in the mix. See what we can do at Tampa this afternoon. Their opener, I have it 1, 5, 3, and 7. The number 1 is Time Thief 2. Just, master of the obvious here, 7 to 5 on the morning line, and it's hard to ignore the numbers thrown in the last couple of starts. A couple of high 40 buyer figures, which is compared to the rest of this field, compares very well, and you get class relief as well. So you toss in the class relief and the figures thrown in the past couple of starts, absolutely logical favorite here, Time Thief 2. Second spot, the number 5, Hurricane Bob. This horse was dropped in a similar kind of scenario to the drop that Time Thief 2 is making today. 20,000, 3 starts back, 12.5, 2 starts back, and then went to this 8 level last time and really had some trouble. Tossed a dud and came out of the gate with some trouble. I'm looking at this horse maybe to rebound, though. I think at the class level, this horse could be competitive. And I think with the jockey switch to Centino, maybe this horse will get a little bit of a wake-up call. I don't jump on board with a lot of confidence. But again, I think at the class level, this horse will be an okay fit. And the jockey switch did attract my attention. Third spot, the number 3, DeWonder Boyd. It's just a fresh face in a field that... Well, it's just a weak field, to be honest. So you've had horses that have had plenty of opportunities to get it done and haven't yet. So why not take a shot with a new runner in here? Now, the breeding didn't jump off the page at me, and the dam produced a sibling called Running De Niro that took 7 starts to win. So it's not necessarily saying precociousness. The connections don't jump off the page with particularly high percentages. So it's a fresh face. Of what do we have, 2 first-time starters in here. This is the one I'm leaning towards a little bit. But again, it's a weak field, so something quirky could certainly jump up and happen. I went in race 1, though, 1, 5, 3, and 7.
Moving on to race number 2 at Tampa Bay Downs, 6 furlongs. It is a claiming event for 4 and up. Claiming prices of $8,000 down to $7,000.
I'm going to do a 3-horse exacta box in here. That said, the number 7, who's my 4th pick, I find very dangerous, and I could wind up at the end of this race on the outside looking in with that 7-horse beating me. That one scares me, but I have a 2, 4, 1, and 7. The number 2 is Run, Fat Boy, Run, who ran well at $16,000 last time. Comes back today at half of that price. This is a pretty steep drop off of the last few, but we go back a ways. This horse ran for $4,000 back in October. They claimed the horse then, so they've done okay since then. And you know, they're certainly not going to lose any money on this situation now. So the drop doesn't concern me. I think they're shopping for a winning spot. You have high percentage connections, including Daniel Centino. So I think Run, Fat Boy, Run, absolutely logical. Second spot, Gianna's Music Man. 1 in 8,000 non-winners of 3 last time, goes into an open 8 today. But again, this is a fairly lightly raced horse, 3 career wins and 5 starts. So I think, given the performance last time, I think this horse will be an okay fit in the open company today. And again, you look at the rest of the field, I don't think it's a particularly strong field at the open 8 level either. So I think Gianna's Music Man will contend. And then Costa de Oro, the number 1 horse, won a similar race last time. I say it every couple of days, it seems like, situations like this. If they've won in a very similar race last time out, why not right back? So I'll throw that one in. I think these three are kind of logical. Stig's Deputy, though, this is one where the drop kind of concerns me. I think it's a pretty steep drop off, at least the last couple. Also, we have a horse going turf to dirt. It just seems like they're really, you know, kind of waving a flag here. And so it won't shock me at all if Stig's Deputy runs very well off the drop, but I'm going to just take a little bit of a shot against, and again, box up my top 3. I have a 2, 4, 1, and 7.
Tampa Bay third race, 7 furlongs. It is a claiming event for 4 and up, which have not won 2 races since August 27th, and the claiming price is $5,000.
5, 6, the 1 entry, and 7. The number 5 is Exactness. I pulled up, you see a trouble line there in the last race. Squeezed, checked early, and I pulled up the replay to watch that. And this horse definitely was the meat in a horse sandwich. They came out, and in the first furlong, the outside horse came in, the inside horse came out, the ones right next to this horse, and they really squeezed Exactness out of it. 3-2 favorite that day. And I think the trouble in that first furlong really explains the 4th place finish. I think this horse is likely to bounce back. Claimed that day, claimed last time out by Dale Bennett. He does very well first off the claim. I like the jockey switch. There's just a number of things to me that indicates Exactness is going to definitely improve on that last effort. So we'll put him on top. Second spot, Daddy Spent the Money, the number 6 horse. This one dropped to the 5 non-1 calendar condition last time and won. I think, though, was running against better before that. So I think probably could be in the comfort zone in this 5,000 conditional level. Now, does move up a condition. Sometimes they have to work when they move up a little bit and get their feet wet at that next level. But again, I just think the series of races prior to that indicate this horse should still be in the comfort zone. Daniel Centino on board, that attracts my attention as well. And then the number 1, Garçon. Actually, both halves of the 1 entry, Garçon and One Cool Dude. Between the two, I think Garçon is perfectly legitimate. Excuse me. I think between the two, One Cool Dude is maybe a little more interesting on A, class relief, and B, the cutback and trip. So if I had to lean one way or the other in the entry, One Cool Dude would be the way I would lean. But I think both halves are capable in here. In the third, 5, 6, the 1 entry, and 7.
Or as Rich Gunder likes to call him, Garcon. Moving on to race number 4.
Sounds like one of the Godzilla's nemesis.
Oh, my goodness. Moving on to race number 4 at Tampa Bay Downs, 6 furlongs. It is a claiming event for fillies and mares 4 and up. Claiming price of $12,500 down to $10,000.
4, 8, 2, and 7. The number 4 is Kitty City. Goes out for Jamie Ness and Midwest Thoroughbreds. This is a 9-year-old, but it's a 9-year-old that is in some pretty good form right now. Now, it does bounce up class-wise off a win, but boy, boy, you talk about a horse for a course, 7 for 7 over the lifetime here at Tampa Bay, and that includes 2 wins this season. Took off from mid-September to early January, came from Delaware back down to Tampa, put in a couple of wins for the Ness Midwest team. Those were at a 5,000 conditional and an open 62.50, but they were done in a fashion that says this bump up I don't think is going to present a problem. So I'll put Kitty City in the mix even on the class move up. Second spot, the number 8, Pick the Double. Won a somewhat similar race last time. 12.5 to 10,000 claimer in the last. That was going 6.5. This is 6. But again, it's a pretty similar event last time. Daniel Centino sticks on board. Pick the Double should be in the mix. And then Dubai Dot. Canadian Shipper's been off since early December, so there's been a little bit of a layoff. And the connections are a little bit light with limited starts at the meet. But going back a month and a half, watching Tampa Bay and over on the other side of the state Gulfstream, seems like the Florida shippers were doing pretty well this season. So I'm just kind of going back to, as they say, a month and a half or so ago when these ones were appearing for the first time either here or on the other side of the state. They were attracting my attention then. This one's been off a little longer, and the layoff may be a little bit of a concern, but I did like the Canadian shippers this season, so I'll throw Dubai Dot in the mix as well. Fourth race, 4, 8, 2, and 7.
That's going to take us to race number 5 at Tampa Bay Downs. We're going to move to the turf course, and we're going to go a mile and a 16th. It's a maiden claiming event for fillies and mares 4 and up. The claiming price is $25,000 down to $20,000.
I got a couple of AEs in here, so I'll add a couple others after that just in case they don't make it in. I have it 8 and 2. I wrote down the wrong number there. 8, 2, and then I go up to the AEs for 11 and 12. If they don't make it in, toss the 7 and 9 in the mix, though. But 8 and 2 on top. The number 8 is Milady Mortimer. Daniel Centino jumps on board today. That attracted my attention. I also like the fact that this horse gets back to the turf today. First couple of career starts, pretty good. The career debut was at this claiming level. Nice second place finish. Then they got ambitious, went up to the maiden special weight level. Finishing position regress, buyer figure move forward, and then last time out they were in an off the turf event for the 25 tag. Buyer figure move forward again. I just think the return to the grass at this 25 level could be a potent move for the number 8, Milady Mortimer. Number 2, Lady of the Glen, 9 to 5 on the morning line. Tommy Proctor, Ronnie Allen. This one has a sibling called Dimitrov that won in its second career start in South America. Another sibling, however, called Black Hawk Red that didn't win until its 6th start over at Beulah Park. So maybe mixed messages on the bottom side there. But what attracts the attention is Tommy Proctor going very well at the meet, and this one getting some class relief as well. So I think Lady of the Glen is a legitimate contender, probably deservedly that 9 to 5 morning line. But I'm just willing to take maybe a little bit of a shot against on the fact that this horse has been off since April. So I might need one. So I'll go just slightly against that guy. Then again, out to the AE list, Yona and the Tufilized, both look a little bit interesting if they do make it in. They're the first and second horses on the AE list. So at one scratch will move us into the mix. So both of those are kind of interesting. And again, if they don't make it in, the 7 and the 9 will be move-ups for me. So again, in this 5th race, have a couple of AEs in the mix. 8, 2, 11 and 12 on the AE list. If they don't scratch in, bring up the 7 and the 9.
And there you have it, set selections for races 1 through 5 at Tampa Bay Downs. We need to take our first break, and when we come back, we'll finish out today's Tampa Bay card. So please stay tuned. You're watching the OTB TV Network.
I'm Seth Merrill. Join me weekdays at 10 for Racing Across America. We'll look at important races from around the country, get insight from top handicappers and analysts, and preview the upcoming week in racing. That's Racing Across America, weekdays at 10, right here on the OTB TV Network.
Here in upstate New York, no one provides bettors with more wagering options than Capital OTB. Our network of branch and easy bet locations stretches from the mid-Hudson Valley all the way to the Canadian border and west to central New York. So whether you need to place a bet, fund your Capital Bets account, or watch the next big race, all the action is just around the corner. A full list of our branch and easy bet locations can be found online at capitalotb.com. Capital OTB, the better and most convenient choice for wagering in upstate New York.
I got it. Watch me. I got it. Hey! I got something that makes me want to shout. I got something that tells me what it's all about. I got a move that tells me what to do. If you don't, brothers and sisters, then you won't know what it's all about.
Funding your Capital OTB bet account is as easy as 1, 2, 3. 1. Easy money. Clearly the fastest and easiest method of depositing funds into your account. Make deposits or withdrawals in just minutes. 2. Green Dot Money Pack. Gives you instant access to your funds. Green Dot Money Packs are available at thousands of retailers nationwide. And 3. MasterCard Visa. Simply click on the link from the funding page, enter your account information, and fund your account. CapitalOTBBet.com. Log on today.
Hey race fans, head down to the all-new Clubhouse Racebook. With live horse racing on more than 250 flat-screen TVs, state-of-the-art wagering terminals, and amazing Vegas-style atmosphere. The Clubhouse Racebook, 711 Central Avenue, Albany.
Welcome back to the Handicappers Report. Thank you for joining us on this Thursday morning. Before the break, Seth gave you his selections for races 1 through 5 at Tampa Bay Downs. Let's move along to race number 6. It is 7 furlongs. It is a claiming event for fillies and mares 3 and up, which have never won 2 races. The claiming price is $12,500.
4, 2, 7, and 5. Number 4, Real Good Movie. Just on the numbers, this is one of those horses that I think just has a little buyer edge on this field. 3-2 on the morning line. I think absolutely logical. Now, Gary Boulanger is riding, and he's only 3% at the meet with 1 win. So that's a little bit dicey for me. This horse looks best, but you do have to pay attention. You got a trainer on an 0 for and a jockey on a 1 for. Do you take a short price with that? I think the horse, though, on the numbers is best. So I'll put it on top, but there's a little trepidation there. Second spot. On the other hand, we have Fernando de la Cruz on board the number 2 Gulf Boulevard. Just on the jockey, this one maybe is a little more interesting at the 7-2 price. And I do believe this horse is better than the latest effort. I'm looking for a rebound. This horse dropped down to this level last time and tossed in a dud. Picks up de la Cruz today, and I think should improve on that performance. Bel Ali, the number 7 horse in the mix. This one, like Gulf Boulevard, I think this horse is better than the latest effort. Moving to a journeyman jockey, I think we'll see a rebound. Just the effort just prior was a maiden breaker at 8,000, so maybe had to get its feet wet a little bit against limited winners, get slight class relief off of that last start. And again, I think this horse is better than we saw last time. 6th race, 4, 2, 7, and 5.
Race number 7 at Tampa Bay Downs, mile and the 16th on the turf. It's an allowance event for 4 and up, which have never won a race other than maiden, claiming, or starter.
Like an earlier race, I got a couple of AEs in here, so I'll add 2 more to the mix as well. 6, 7 on top. Then I go out to the AE list, 12 and 14. If they don't get in, move the 1 and 4 in. But on top, I have the number 6 Rerun, just in some good form right now. The buyer figures in the past couple of starts absolutely fit with this bunch, and I kind of like that. Off a little bit of a layoff, came back in a turf sprint. That was okay. Then stretched out to a mile last time, improved the finishing position. Now stretches a little further to a mile and a 16th. I just think the setup could have this horse primed to run well today. Rerun on top. Second spot, the number 7 iCat. Just another one of these horses that I think is better than the latest effort. If you look at the starts, 2, 3, 4 starts back number-wise, this horse seemed to be on the improve and just running well, and then tossed in a little bit of a dud last time, and it just looks like an aberration. So I'm expecting iCat to run better today. Again, go out to the AE list. If they make it in, 12 and 14. Now, 12 is 2 deep, 14 is 4 deep, so it's a little less likely that these will make it in than the ones in the earlier race. But High Dollar Kitten, the 12 horse, goes out for Tommy Proctor and comes in off a start here earlier in the meet. That was okay, and number-wise, I think fits. So if High Dollar Kitten gets in, I like that one. Also, Midwest and Jamie Ness Liquidity Trap. If they don't get in, however, the 1 and the 4 are going to be on the move up for me. So again, in the 7th race, 6, 7. We'll go out to the AEs for 12 and 14. If they don't get in, move up the 1 and the 4.
Moving along to race number 8 at Tampa Bay Downs, mile and 40 yards. It's an allowance optional claiming event for fillies and mares 4 and up.
2, 5, 1, and 3. The number 2 is Katie. It's fine. Just in some good form over the last 3 starts since arriving at Tampa. Couple of wins, bookending a second-place finish. So again, I think this horse, A, in good form, and B, has now shown an affinity for this track. Second spot, the number 5, Vital Victory. Just another one of those horses, we've had a few of them today, that I think is better than the last start. When they're stringing together some numbers that shows a fair amount of consistency, and then that number takes a notable dip, it just has the look of an aberration to me. And I tend to forgive that and, try to bypass that what have you done for me lately mentality and look back more at the totality of the past few starts. And I'm just looking at this horse probably as being more able to run what we saw prior to the last race. So I'm looking for a rebound for Vital Victory. And then we will go to the number 1, Gutierrez Girl, who another one that threw in a dud last time. 2 starts back, was on the turf. Was claimed, however, 3 starts back off of a good race. Now, this horse just might be going in the wrong direction, but I just think they claimed the horse, they tried the turf. All right, we'll draw a line through that. Then they went to a sprint last time. You know what, I'm going to draw a line through that too. And now the move out to a mile and 40, I think class-wise, distance, it just may be interesting today for Gutierrez Girl. Fernando de la Cruz on board, 15-1. I'll throw that one in the mix in a race that's just maybe a little bit dicey. In the 8th, then, I have it 2, 5, 1, and 3, 2, 5, 1, and 3.
The finale at Tampa Bay Downs, race number 9, 1 mile on the turf. It's a maiden claiming event for 3-year-old fillies. The claiming price is $32,000 down to $30,000.
This one, I think a little bit of anything can happen. I'm going to call a 4-horse exacta box in here and box mine up, but tread very lightly because I think it's a wide open race. But I think the odds may shake out to be a little bit interesting. I have it 5, 2, 7, and 4. The number 5 is Extra Approval. I like Flatter as a sire of precocious runners. This one threw in a couple of duds to start the career, but I think, again, with Flatter on top and the move maiden special weight to maiden claiming, I'll toss that one in the mix. Same idea for Core Blimey by Corinthians. Certainly I like that. This one started the career in maiden special weight company, showed nothing, but the move into a $32,000 claiming level could be a wake-up call. Santino on board. Third spot, the number 7, Broadway Peyton, who made that move into claiming company last time and showed some nice improvement running third after some more disappointing finishes in maiden special weight company. So just looking at Broadway Peyton, you see what that class relief can do. This horse certainly improved with the move in for a tag. And we'll also throw into the mix the number 4, Oriental Secret, getting some additional class relief. So again, I'll tread lightly because I think you can make a case for a few others in here that I didn't mention, but I do think my 4 will offer some value. So I'll end the day playing a little bit of a 4-horse exacta box. In the 9th today, I have it 5, 2, 7, and 4.
And there you have it. Set selections for today's Tampa Bay Downs card. We're going to take another break, and when we come back, I'll give you my picks for today's Gulfstream card. So please stay with us. You're watching the OTB TV Network.
This is Steve Beck. Join me Tuesday through Saturday here on OTB TV for At the Races, my Sirius XM daily news magazine of the thoroughbred industry. Handicapping, interviews, analysis, everything you could want. 6 a.m. OTB TV.
Hey, race fans, head down to the all-new Clubhouse Racebook and get in the game. With live horse racing on more than 250 flat-screen TVs, state-of-the-art wagering terminals, fantastic food and drinks, an amazing Vegas-style atmosphere with seating for nearly 900 of your closest friends. Conveniently located at 711 Central Avenue, right off Exit 5 of I-90 in Albany, the Clubhouse Racebook is the better choice.
Each morning on the OTB TV network, you get the very best in horse racing programming. Weekdays begin with the Handicappers Report, where professional handicappers share their selections and analysis of the day's racing. Followed by Racing Across America, a daily conversation with racing personalities from around the country. Saturdays include Down the Stretch, where Mark Casano speaks with the biggest names in racing. And Sunday mornings, it's Loose on the Lead, where Steve Bick and I offer news and a unique lineup of weekly guests. All here on the OTB TV network.
Wagering at CapitalOTBBet.com is as easy as 1, 2, 3. 1. Capital Bet TV, the fastest and easiest online wagering experience where you can monitor 5 different tracks simultaneously. 2. Capital Bet Express. Its straightforward program layout and interactive handicapping information lets you build your wager quickly and efficiently. And 3. Capital Bet Pro, designed especially for the professional horse player. CapitalOTBBet.com. Log on today.
Missed one of our TV shows? No worries. Now you can catch all your favorite programs online. Simply log on to CapitalOTB.com and click on the YouTube link at the bottom of the homepage. And look for our new podcast coming soon. CapitalOTB.com. Log on today.
Welcome back to the Handicappers Report. We'll dive right in now to Thursday afternoon at Gulfstream Park. Their opener is a starter allowance, $50,000 level. These are fillies and mares 4-year-olds and up on the grass at 1 1/16 miles.
And they're calling for 40 to 50% chance of showers and thunderstorms throughout the day in the Miami area. I went on the Doppler radar, and it's really hard to determine where the showers and thunderstorms are going to happen. So as of right now, I think they're on the turf. I'll give you my picks for the turf, and at the end of turf races, I'll just give you my quick picks that I gave for the main track in case those rains do hit the Gulfstream Park racetrack. In the opener, I'm going to go 5, 6, and 3. The number 5, this is nice. She was a real good second, the same level and on the turf at 7.5 furlongs. And I think she'll be laying a little bit closer to the pace, going the 1 1/16. Alex Solis stays aboard, and I'm telling you, Alex Solis can still finish with the best of them. So I'm going to put the number 5, This Is Nice, into the top spot. For second, I'll go with the number 6, Aventurine. She's returning from 11-month layoff, but she's trained by Todd Pletcher, so that really doesn't even factor in there. Her previous 2 starts, certainly good enough at this level. Castellano aboard, let's put her in the second spot. And for third, the number 3, Canny Nanny. She'll be returning to the turf, freshened up since December 15th, where she ran on the Woodbine Poly. Her last 3 works have been on the turf, so you'd have to think the Connections really want to run on the turf. But if it comes off, I'm going to leave her in my mix because she does have decent synthetic form, and maybe she'll stay in needing the race. So 5, 6, and 3 on the turf. Main track, this race I think will absolutely fall apart. I'm not even sure who's going to stay in and who's not. I'll go 1, 3, and 4 if it's main track race, excuse me.
Second race at Gulfstream today. It's a B-conditioned claimer, $16,000 tags, 4-year-olds and up, and they'll travel 7 furlongs.
Man, I mentioned this last week. Apparently, P.J. Campbell took these 3-part conditions with him down to South Florida because this is one of those races. And I'm going to go 2, 3, and 5. The number 2, Holden Bullets. He fits the 3rd part of this condition. You know, hasn't won a race since August 27th. Well, it's been over a year since he had his last win. But I like the fact that he does have speed in here. He's dropping a little bit from 20,000 to 16. I also like the fact that he appears that he could be the lone speed in this race, and speed is just so dangerous on that Gulfstream Park surface. So let's put the number 2, Holden Bullets, into the top spot. For second, I went with the number 3, DeMarin, who's dropping down from 30,000, and he easily fits the 3rd part of this condition. He has not won a race since August of 2012. You know, and the drop creates notice. We always say the best hop is drop. But, you know, this horse is a 6-year-old, so maybe he has seen his best days. But, again, just coming down to the 16,000 level from 30,000, basically he's cutting him in half, as Harvey Pack used to like to say. So let's put him in the mix. And for third and number 5, Revelationist. Fits the 2nd part of this condition, 3 wins as a 4-year-old, and it's going to be cutting back in distance, but I'm concerned that he might fall too far back, but could possibly rally to be 3rd. 2, 3, and 5 in the Gulfstream 2nd race.
Race number 3 today, a conditional claimer, 12,500 tags. Non-winners of 2 lifetime the condition. Fillies and mares 4-year-olds and up, going 6 furlongs.
I went 6, 3, and 1 here. The number 6, Sizzlin' Bee. She's dropping down from 16,000 entry-level allowance race, freshened up since December 20th, where she ran on the Calder turf going 5 furlongs. You know, her dirt form isn't great, honestly, but this seems to be an easier group than she's met before on the dirt. I like the fact that she does have some early foot. She's posted well toward the outside. So even though her dirt form isn't good, I think she's meeting a field that she can get out there, if not on the lead or very close to the lead, and be able to keep going down the lane. So I'm going to put the number 6, Sizzlin' Bee, into the top spot. She is 2 to 1, so tried to find a horse that I could hook up with a decent exacta. I went to the number 3, Dixie Hot Shot. You have to go 3 back where she was 3 starts back where she was second at this level and distance. You know, her 2 subsequent races, she just wasn't well placed. They moved her from 12.5 where she was second into the 30,000, and then they tried 16,000 going 7.5 on the turf. So again, probably wasn't as well placed as she was 3 back at this level where she was second. So if she runs that race back, she has a good chance to be in the second spot at a halfway decent price. That's why I put her in the second spot. And for third, I'll go down to the inside to number 1, Lettin' Go. I mean, she could be the speed of the race from the 1 post. She finished behind Dixie Hot Shot in that race on January 16th, and she hasn't run since, while Dixie Hot Shot has ran a couple times already. So maybe a little bit of fresh legs might help her, and obviously the speed's going to help her also. 6, 3, and 1 in the Gulfstream Park third race.
Fourth race this afternoon is a $35,000 claimer. These are 4-year-olds and up. They'll go the 1-turn mile.
4, 2, and 7 here. The number 4, Political Justice. You know, I think, again, he has enough early speed to be on the lead today. And, you know, as we've seen at Gulfstream Park, very, very favors speed, particularly last week or so. And I would love it if the rain showers came for this particular horse because, you know, he seems to really like it wet. This race goes off at 2:35. And as I said, I checked I did amateur meteorologist and I checked my Doppler radar. It's just really hard to see where these storms are going to hit. If they hit Gulfstream Park Racetrack, it's going to be wet, and I think Political Justice will like it. He's 6-1 in the morning line, so a little bit of value there in the top spot with a horse with a nice early speed. For second, I went with the number 2, Broom Street. He galloped in an off-a-turf event at the 16,000 star allowance. You know, I questioned how tough they were because that was a race that was originally scheduled for the turf, and who remained in the race, I'm not exactly sure. But it was a very nice win. And if you toss his race 2 back where he was just overmatched at the $62,000 level, Broom Street is in very, very solid form. And I had to look up Broom Street because I grew up near Binghamton, which is Broome County. Has nothing to do with it. Broom Street is a street in Manhattan. So, but I think definitely if you just forgive that race 2 starts back where he was overmatched, he's in solid form right now. Let's put him in the second spot. And for third to number 7, JB's Unk. He's in very good form also, and it just appears that the $35,000 level should be right in his wheelhouse. He's had a third win and a second his last 3 starts. In fact, he was third in the Claiming Crown sprint. So he should figure in here also. 4, 2, and 7 in the Gulfstream Park fourth race.
Race number 5 this afternoon, an optional claimer, $25,000 tags, non-winners of 1 other than the condition. Fillies and Mares 4-year-olds and up on the grass at a mile and a 16th.
6, 7, and 8 are my choices on the turf. Number 6, Theater Star. Excuse me, Theater Star. You know, she's good either surface, and you know she's had sporadic starts in her 3-race career. She made her debut in April of 2013. And then didn't run again until November of 2013, where she broke her maiden on the turf at Aqueduct for the $40,000 level, which makes her eligible for this race. Then we didn't see her again until January at Gulfstream Park, where she just really galloped on an off-the-turfer at the $50,000 start of this level. So the thing I noticed that day is that she's ridden by Joe Rocco Jr. Today she's ridden by Javier Castellano. And Seth, that's what you do when you're leading rider. It's unfortunately for a rider like Joe Rocco, we saw in Saratoga what an excellent rider he is. But when you're leading rider like Javier Castellano, they watch this horse run. His agent goes over there and says, you know, we want to ride that horse. And they forget it automatically. They forget who just won on the horse, and they get a little starry-eyed, and they put Castellano aboard. So obviously, Javier and his agent liked what they saw. I'll put Theater Star into the top spot. For second, I'll go to number 7, Divine Luck. Trained by Shug McGahee. And I think I'm very interested to see what jockey Joel Rosario does with this filly. He seems to like to have her closer to the pace than when Javier Castellano rides her, but she's got a little bit sporadic form. But I think if it stays on the turf, and even the turf has been favoring horses that are at least laying close. Again, she's only 1 for 15 lifetime, but she's always kind of just there. I can't put her in the top spot because, as I said, she's 1 for 15, but she's always kind of right around the board, so you have to throw her in the mix. Again, I'm just interested to see how Joel decides to ride her. And then for third, I'm going to go with the number 8, Ardingly, who'll be making her first North American start for trainer Graham Motion. also getting Lasix. This is one of them European horses that obviously is a bleeder. They don't use Lasix over there, so they sent her over here. She's been off since August, but she did fire a bullet on February 18th at the Palm Meadows Training Center, and we know Grand Motion does a very, very good job with horses coming from across the pond because he's from across the pond. So if it stays on the grass, I'm going to go 6, 7, and 8. If it's on the main track, I'm actually going to stay with Theater Star on top because she appears to like it either way. So I'll go 6, 9, and 4.
Very good. We'll take our last break for the hour. When we come back, we'll continue our look at Gulfstream. Stay tuned.
I'm Steve Beck.
And I'm Seth Merrill.
Together, we're loose on the lead on Capital OTB, Sundays at 10 a.m. Why should they watch, Seth?
Sit down on Sunday, have a bagel, get some great racing conversation.
Cream cheese only, no jelly. Sundays, 10 a.m., loose on the lead, Capital OTB.
Using CapitalOTBBet.com is as easy as 1, 2, 3. 1. Simply log on with your username and password from the homepage. 2. Fund your Capital OTB account through our Easy Money, Green Dot, or Visa MasterCard options. And 3. Place your bet on one of our 3 easy-to-navigate wagering platforms, Capital Bet TV, Capital Bet Express, or Capital Bet Pro. CapitalOTBBet.com. Log on today.
Here in upstate New York, no one provides bettors with more wagering options than Capital OTB. Our network of branch and easy bet locations stretches from the mid-Hudson Valley all the way to the Canadian border and west to central New York. So whether you need to place a bet, fund your Capital Bets account, or watch the next big race, all the action is just around the corner. A full list of our branch and easy bet locations can be found online at CapitalOTB.com. Capital OTB, the better and most convenient choice for wagering in upstate New York.
Funding your Capital OTB bet account is as easy as 1, 2, 3. 1. Easy Money. Clearly the fastest and easiest method of depositing funds into your account. Make deposits or withdrawals in just minutes. 2. Green Dot Money Pack. Gives you instant access to your funds. Green Dot Money Packs are available at thousands of retailers nationwide. And 3. MasterCard Visa. Simply click on the link from the funding page, enter your account information, and fund your account. CapitalOTBBet.com. Log on today.
I'm Mark Cassano. Join me Saturday mornings at 10 for Down the Stretch. We'll inform, analyze, and welcome in the biggest names in racing. So join me Saturday mornings at 10 for Down the Stretch, right here on the OTB television network.
Welcome back. We'll continue now with race number 6 at Gulfstream Park. It is an allowance, it looks like kind of an open allowance in here. What is it, a money allowance? They started for a claiming price.
Horses that run for a claiming price, any claiming price.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. It says ALW-S.
Yes. Makes you take a good hard look.
Yeah, there you go. All right. These are 4-year-olds and up. They will go 1 mile and 1/8 on the turf.
And Seth, because it was, horses that run for any claiming price, this is a pretty salty event. I went 2, 6, and 1 here, the number 2 Star Channel. He won the Sunshine Million Turf on January 18th. He was 9-1 that day, and this horse was claimed 2 starts before that for $62,500. So you have to think that was a pretty nice claim. 2 starts later, wins a $150,000 stake. And you know what? If you look even farther back, this horse, although he finished 7th in the Sword Dancer, only got beat 4 1/4 lengths, and that's not very far in a Grade 1. So again, I'll put Star Channel on top just off that really nice effort in the Sunshine Millions turf. For second, I went to number 6. Mucho Mas Macho, who's 10-1 in the morning line. And they're going to throw blinkers back on this horse. They took him off when he ran the McDermott in his last start. And before that, he ran the Fort Lauderdale, which was also a Grade 2. And he didn't quite run as well as he did last year because he won the Fort Lauderdale last year. But maybe this is just a little bit of easier spot. They'll put the blinkers on. And, Seth, he wasn't embarrassed in either one of them races. And it was those two were this is his 3rd start off a layoff. Prior to them, he hadn't run since September, where he was 3rd in the Laurel Turf Cup, but a very close 3rd. So at 10-1, I think Mucho Mas Macho has a very good chance to be on the board today, and I put him in the 2nd spot. For a 3rd, I'll go to the inside to the number 1, Burn the Mortgage, who's coming off a real handy score in his previous outing for $50,000. So obviously he's in very good form right now. That was his first start over the Gulfstream Park surface this year, and trained by Mike Maker. Javier Castellano stays aboard. That makes you take notice. If it comes off, I will go 11, 10, and 4, and the 10 is named Bingo, Bango, Bongo. That's got to be a horse you're going to be playing, Mr. Sapp.
I'm all about Bingo, Bango, Bongo. The seventh race today is a maiden special weight event. These are fillies and mares, 4-year-olds, and up going 7 furlongs.
Another interesting event here at Gulfstream Park. 7, 3, and 1. The number 7, previous, going to be returning from a 9-month layoff. This is a daughter of Empire Maker. And, you know, her lone start was an even effort. She hasn't run since May 3rd. But, again, this is a Juddmonte bred filly. Something must have happened that day. They've given her plenty of time off. She's getting Lasix for the very first time. She's working well at Payson Park for her return to the races. And we all know that Payson Park is an excellent surface to get a nice foundation under a horse. Billy Mott utilizes it. Christophe Clement, Shug McGahee. You know, a lot of great trainers use that as a good foundation surface. So let's go with previous. She's 6-1 in the morning line. I don't know if we're going to get that, because I don't think this is an overly tough maiden special weight event. But coming off that layoff with some solid works, getting Lasix, let's put number 7 previous into the top spot. For second, I went to number 3, Maggi, who actually was second in Previous's race. They met each other back on May 3rd at Belmont. And she hasn't run since either, so they've had the exact same amount of time off. And, you know, Maggi's had 2 starts in her career, but they've been very spread out. She ran in September of 2012 at Saratoga and then didn't come back until May in that same race as previous. Trained by Rick Violette, who, you know, conditioned her very well, so it looks like she's well prepared to come back to her return to the races. I'm a little interested why she's 4-1 and Previous is 6-1. I know she did beat Previous in that one time they met, but I think Previous has a little bit more upside, and I like the way she's preparing at Payson Park, just a little bit better than Maggi. So I went 7-3, and then for third, I went down to the number 1, Smashing, who's a firster by Malibu Moon coming out of the Jimmy Jerkins barn. Just nice, solid works, especially her one leading into this race, 1:04 breezing from the gate. You know, and I lost track of Juba that was trained by Jimmy Jerkins. I like that colt when he ran as a 2-year-old at Aqueduct. I think he was 3rd in his debut. Then he was 2nd to Constitution at Gulfstream Park. We haven't seen him since, so I think he's probably off the Derby trail. Maybe he's run, maybe he's not, but I haven't seen him. I'll have to look that up. But in the Gulfstream 7, 3, and 1.
Gulfstream 8 today is a conditional claimer, $25,000 to $30,000 tags. Non-winners of 3 lifetime the condition. 4-year-olds and up, 1.16 on the grass.
3, 1, and 4 here. The number 3, Logan Street. He was claimed last time out for $16,000, never won 3 life. He was 3rd that day, going 7.5 furlongs. I think you'll like the extra distance. And yeah, he's moving up in the scale to the $30,000 level. He's actually in for 25, but he's meeting those kind of horses. But I think the distance is better for him. 6 starts, a win, 3 seconds, and a third. So 5 out of 6 times he's run this distance, he's been on the board. And maybe just a little bit of change of hands isn't going to hurt this horse. And he's given a little bit of a price at 8-1. So let's put Logan Street into the top spot. For second, the number 1, Eternal Ruler, who was claimed for $30,000 when he was second at this level, claimed by Mike Maker, certainly fits. And for third, the number 4, Dysprosium, who was claimed from Mike Maker out of his last start, where he was 3rd behind Eternal Ruler. So if you like Eternal Ruler, who was second, you have to like Dysprosium also. But I'll take a little bit of a shot with the number 3, Logan Street on top. 3, 1, and 4. If it's taken off and goes main track, I'll go 9, 2, and 6.
9th race this afternoon, optional claiming event. Claiming tag $75,000. Condition non-winners of 1 other than. These are 3-year-old fillies. They'll go 1.16 miles.
Man, this is a pretty salty entry-level allowance race. 4, 5, and 8. The number 4, Rosalind. You know, she's a highly regarded 2-year-old. This is a filly that was a very close 3rd in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. Before that, she was 2nd in the Alcibiades, 3rd in the Pocahontas. Broke her maiden in her career debut from there. She didn't finish out her 2-year-old, and not bad. I mean, she was favored in the Hollywood Starlet. Finished 4th, got beat 2 3/4 lengths that day. He's been off since December 7th. They're going to put blinkers on. Certainly won't hurt her. I'm sure they put her on her in the morning. They've had plenty of time to experiment with them. Obviously, they feel this is going to help this filly, and she doesn't need an awful lot of help to beat this field. So again, I couldn't go past Rosalind at the top spot. For second, I went with the number 5, In Tune, who's stretching off a debut win as the favorite at 6 furlongs for trainer Todd Pletcher, Javier Castellano. She was favored that day. no real surprise. And I think she'll be able to handle the stretch out. Unbridled Song out of an affirmed mare. I don't know how many affirmed mares we see around anymore, but this homebred, I think, has the ability to stretch out. At 5-1, let's put her in the second spot. And for third, I went with the number 8, Camille Claudel. You know, I liked her in the Busanda. She was coming off a big win at Laurel Park, where she broke her main by 19 lengths in her second start. And she really just didn't have a very good trip in the Busanda. She was in traffic. She was on heels for the early part of the trip. And I really think she's better than that. And so at 15-1, I do have to throw her in the mix. 4, 5, and 8 in the Gulfstream 9th race. Very, very nice allowance race.
10th and final today, a B-level claimer, $25,000 tags. Fillies and mares, 4-year-olds and up. They'll go a mile on the grass.
10, 7, and 2 here. The number 10, Elusive Design. This is, again, one of them 3-parters. Fits the first part of this condition. Was claimed for $20,000 out of her last start, which she was 4th. Got beat a length and a half. So let's put her in the top spot at 6-1 for second. The number 7, Sapphire Blue. She wired to $30,000, never win 2 life last time. Fits the first part, where that was only her second win, obviously, never win 2 life. But again, solid form right now. Castellano stays aboard. And for third, I'll go with the number 2, Jane's Air, who's dropping down from the $50,000 starter. It's got the Pinot brothers, Michael the trainer, Mario the jockey. 10, 7, and 2. If it stays on the turf, main track, 7, 14, and 15.
All right, that wraps up the handicapping portion of the program, and in fact wraps up the entire program. We looked at Gulfstream at Tampa Bay, a couple of the tracks you'll see on the network this afternoon, plenty of racing action to enjoy that kicks off with Tampa, then moves on to Laurel, Gulfstream, Fairgrounds, Oaklawn, Santa Anita, Northfield, Penn National, Delta Downs, Yonkers Raceway, the Meadowlands, and a little later on this evening, we go down under Australia A and Australia B. Go on over to capitalotb.com to come up with our selections. If you didn't get a chance to write them down, that Handicappers Report link on the right-hand side of the page. You can also find out about the various promotions and whatnot that are going on here at capitalotb.com. All right, that brings us to the end of the Handicappers Report for this Thursday morning. Seth Merrow and Jeff Carl going to wrap things up now, but coming up next, it's Racing Across America. Stay tuned.
You're watching OTB TV, a service of Capital Off Track Betting.